What if the secret to a happy and prosperous life isn't to take as much as you can, but to give a little more than is required? What if your inner peace is directly proportional to your generosity, not your gain? A wise sage walked into two bakeries. One gave short weight and was filled with misery. The other gave extra and was filled with joy. This is the great counterintuitive paradox of a meaningful life, and it holds the key to curing the spiritual poverty of our age. We live in a world that is obsessed with the concept of the edge. We are taught to seek it, to sharpen it, to use it. The edge in a negotiation, the competitive edge in business, the edge in our personal brand. This philosophy whispers a seductive lie into our hearts, that life is a zero-sum game, a grand marketplace where success is measured by what you can acquire, and happiness is the dividend of getting a little more than you give. We're trained to be shrewd auditors of our own self-interest, ensuring at every transaction that we do not come out on the losing end. And yet, look around. We are living in the most materially abundant time in human history, and we are also living through an epidemic of quiet desperation, a low-grade hum of anxiety. A persistent and unnamed inner turmoil has become the background music of modern life. We have more than ever, yet we feel a profound spiritual deficit. We have mastered the art of maximizing our external accounts, but we have forgotten how to balance our internal ones. What if this inner poverty, this unexplained anxiety, is not a mysterious psychological ailment, but the natural and predictable result of a million tiny acts of taking more than our share? There is an ancient story that serves not as a fable, but as a divine audit of this very condition. It comes from the court of the great Caliph Harun al-Rashid in 8th century Baghdad, and its protagonist is one of the most intriguing figures in spiritual history, Behlül the wise fool. He was a man who feigned madness in order to be free to speak the absolute truth to power. One day, he was tasked with a simple job, and in carrying it out, he revealed a cosmic law of accounting so precise and so inescapable that it governs our lives to this day. This is a journey into two bakeries, a journey to weigh not just bread, but the very substance of our souls. It is a journey to find the source of our disquiet and the simple, paradoxical key to our peace. The story begins with Behlül, in one of his lucid moments, asking the Caliph for a meaningful task. The Caliph, perhaps with a twinkle in his eye, knowing Behlül's unconventional methods, gave him an official and important position. He was to be the Agha, the master and inspector of the city's bustling marketplace. His job was to ensure fairness, to check weights and measures, to be the guardian of commercial integrity. Behlül, taking his new role seriously, went immediately to the heart of the market. He didn't start with the silk merchants or the jewelers. He went to the most basic and essential of all establishments, a bakery. For bread is life. It is the measure of a city's fundamental well-being. He entered the first bakery, a place filled with the rich aroma of fresh loaves. He approached the owner and asked to buy several pieces. Then he produced a small, accurate scale from his own pocket and began to weigh them. One by one, he placed them on the scale, and one by one he found that each loaf was just a little bit shy of its proper weight. It was not a gross and obvious theft, but a small, systematic shaving of the truth, a quiet act of taking just a little more than was due. Behlül set the bread aside. He looked at the baker, a man whose face was etched with a permanent scowl. He did not accuse him. He did not mention the short weight. Instead, he began a different kind of audit. He asked him, "Tell me, baker, are you happy with your life? Do you make a good living? Is there peace and sweetness in your home with your wife and children?" The baker scoffed, a bitter and resentful energy pouring out of him. He began to complain. His business was a constant struggle. He could never get ahead. His customers were difficult. His home life was filled with strife. His health was poor. His soul was in a state of constant agitated discontent. There was not a single aspect of his life with which he was truly satisfied. Behlül listened patiently, nodded slowly, and left without another word. He continued down the street to a second bakery. The moment he entered, he could feel a different atmosphere. This shop was filled not just with the smell of bread, but with a palpable sense of lightness and ease. He approached the owner, a man with a gentle face and clear eyes, and made the same request. Again, he took out his scales and began to weigh the loaves. This time, he found the opposite. Every single loaf was a little over its required weight. This baker was not just honest, he was generous. He was quietly, systematically giving a little more than was due. Again, Behlül set the bread aside and began his true inspection. He asked the baker the very same questions. Are you happy? Is your business prosperous? Do you have peace and joy in your home? The second baker's face broke into a warm, genuine smile. Yes, praise be to God, he replied. Life is good. My work is a blessing. My customers are my neighbors. My family is a source of great joy, and my heart is at peace. Behlül's inspection was complete. He had seen all he needed to see. He did not go to a third bakery. He did not check the spice merchants or the cloth sellers. He turned and walked straight back to the Caliph's palace. Harun al-Rashid was surprised to see him so soon. Behlül, he said, I have only just given you this position. Have you grown tired of it already? O Commander of the Faithful, Behlül replied, with the serene clarity of a man who has just witnessed a profound truth. I have come to resign. There is no need for me to inspect the marketplace, for it already has a master. A divine inspector has passed through before me and has already set all accounts in order. He weighed the consciences of the men along with their bread, and he has already given each one precisely what he is due. The first baker is already paying for his stolen grams with a life of misery. The second is already receiving a surplus of joy for his surplus of generosity. My work is already done. This story is a perfect, luminous window into a truth our modern world has tried desperately to forget. There is an unbreakable, causal link between our integrity and our inner peace. The universe is not a dead, random collection of matter. It is a living, resonant moral system. It is a self-balancing scale. The anxiety and turmoil felt by the first baker were not random misfortunes that befell him. They were the direct result, the immediate and felt consequence of his own actions. Let's look at this through a modern psychological lens. The first baker is living in a state of what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. He holds two contradictory ideas in his mind simultaneously. One, I am a decent person trying to make a living. And two, I am knowingly cheating every single person I serve. This inner conflict, this war between his actions and his conscience, creates a constant state of internal friction. This friction manifests as anxiety, as irritability, as a feeling of being perpetually wronged by the world. He projects his own inner turmoil outward and sees it reflected back at him in the faces of his difficult customers and his unhappy family. He is not a victim of a cruel world. He is the creator of his own inner and outer hell. He thinks he is stealing a few grams from his customers, but the real theft is the peace he is stealing from his own soul, moment by moment, loaf by loaf.
The second baker, on the other hand, is living in a state of integrity, of cognitive resonance. His actions are in perfect harmony with his conscience. His inner and outer worlds are aligned. He is not at war with himself. This state of inner harmony is what radiates from him as peace, as contentment, as joy. His generosity is not a calculated business strategy. It is the natural overflow of a soul that is at peace with itself. The extra gram of flour he gives is a physical manifestation of the surplus of peace in his own heart. The reward for his integrity is not some future prize in a heavenly realm. The reward is the very feeling of contentment he experiences in the here and now. The unexplained inner turmoil that so many people in our prosperous world feel today can often be diagnosed by Behlül's scales. It is the accumulated weight of 1,000 tiny compromises, 1,000 small acts of short weight. It is the interest paid on the loan we take from our own conscience. It is the unconscious stress of cutting a corner on a work project, of telling a white lie to a loved one, of being careless with a financial transaction, of taking credit that isn't fully ours, of gossiping about a friend. Each of these acts is a single underweight loaf, and over time, they create a spiritual famine within us, leaving us feeling empty and agitated, even when our material granaries are full. Let us now, together, become our own Behlül Dana. Let us perform a quiet audit of our own inner marketplace. Find a moment of stillness. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath and grant yourself the courage to be completely honest, without judgment, for these next few moments. Visualize your life as a marketplace. See the various stalls, your work, your family, your friendships, your financial dealings, your inner dialogue. You are the master of this market, and you are holding a perfectly balanced, utterly true scale. Now approach the stall of your professional life. Take a recent action, a project you completed, an email you sent, a meeting you attended. Place it on one side of the scale. On the other side, place the weight of perfect integrity. Was the work you did your absolute best? Were your words completely true? Did you give full measure, or did you cut a corner, however small? Be honest. If the scale tips, showing a short weight, do not judge yourself. Simply notice the feeling that accompanies this recognition. Is it a slight tension? A flicker of shame? A dull ache? This feeling is the price. This is the universe balancing its books within your own soul. Now approach the stall of your relationships. Take a recent interaction with a loved one, a promise you made, a conversation you had. Place it on the scale. Did you give your full, undivided attention, or were you distracted? Did you speak with complete honesty and kindness? Did you give extra weight in the form of patience and understanding? Or did you give short weight by being dismissive or irritable? Again, just notice the feeling. The warmth and lightness that come from an act of true connection. The subtle heaviness that comes from a moment of disconnection. Finally, approach the stall of your relationship with yourself. Look at the promises you've made to your own well-being. To rest, to eat well, to be kind to yourself. Have you honored them, or have you cheated yourself out of the care you deserve? Notice how this too affects the scales of your inner peace. Let these images fade. Take one more deep breath. The great paradox revealed by Behlül Dana is that integrity is not a sacrifice. It is the ultimate act of self-interest. Generosity is not a loss. It is the ultimate investment in your own well-being. The peace of mind you are searching for is not a destination you arrive at through therapy or meditation, though those are valuable tools. It is the natural, inevitable byproduct of a life lived in alignment with your own conscience. It is the music that plays when your actions and your values are in harmony. The cure for so much of our modern anxiety is breathtakingly simple. It is to start, in this very moment, to give good weight. It is to answer that email with a little more care than is required. It is to listen to your partner with a little more presence than you think you have time for. It is to do your work with a level of excellence that no one but you will ever notice. It is to be the person who adds a little extra to every transaction, not because the world deserves it, but because you deserve the profound and unshakable peace that comes from living a life of surplus. Do not worry about the grand scales of cosmic justice. They are already in perfect working order. The divine inspector has already been through your market. Your only task is to be your own Behlül, to weigh your own bread and to understand that the joy or the misery you feel is not a random mood. It is the sound of your own scales settling with perfect and divine precision at the exact weight of your own heart.
Let us bring this profound audit to its final, practical conclusion. The wisdom of Behlül Dawn offers more than a diagnosis. It provides a clear, actionable prescription for a life of integrity and peace. Having understood the principle, we are now called to live it. The transition from insight to action is the crucible where true spiritual transformation occurs. The path forward is not a grand, dramatic overhaul of our lives. We do not need to resign from our jobs or retreat from the world. The marketplace itself is not the problem. It is the laboratory. The cure lies in the small things, in the atomic weights of our daily choices. It is a path of 1,000 conscious course corrections, a gentle but persistent recalibration of our internal compass. The first practice, the integrity audit at day's end. The Sufi tradition places immense importance on the practice of muhasaba, or self-examination. This is not a morbid exercise in self-criticism, but a clear-eyed, compassionate accounting like a responsible shopkeeper balancing the books at the end of the day. Before you sleep each night, take 5 minutes. In the quiet of your mind, replay the key transactions of your day. See them not through the lens of profit and loss, but through the lens of Behlül's scales. Ask yourself, where did I give short weight today? Was it in the quality of my work? In the attention I gave to my child? In a promise I failed to keep to myself? Acknowledge it without judgment. See the act, feel the subtle disquiet it produced, and then release it with the intention to do better tomorrow. This is not about accumulating guilt, but about developing awareness. Where did I give good weight today? Where was I fair, honest, and true to my word? Acknowledge this too. Feel the quiet solidity and peace that these actions produced. This is your evidence, your proof that the principle is real. And most importantly, where did I give surplus weight today? Where did I offer a kindness that wasn't required? Where did I give a measure of patience beyond what was deserved? Where did I add 1 gram of unsolicited excellence to my work? Dwell on these moments. This is where the magic happens. This is where you are not just balancing your books, but actively investing in your spiritual treasury. The feeling of warmth and expansion these memories generate is your dividend. This simple 5-minute practice is a powerful form of neuroplasticity. You are training your brain to recognize the link between your actions and your feelings, between your integrity and your well-being. You are making the invisible law of the cosmos a visible, felt reality in your own life. The second practice, the proactive generosity principle. The first baker was reactive. His entire life was a miserable reaction to his own inner conflict. The second baker was proactive. He had made a conscious decision about how he would operate regardless of the circumstances. He had chosen a principle of surplus. We can do the same. We can choose to make generosity our default setting. This doesn't necessarily mean financial generosity. It is a generosity of spirit that can be applied to every domain of our lives. In conversation, the next time you are speaking with someone, make the conscious choice to give the surplus weight of your full, undivided attention. Put your phone down. Listen not just to their words, but to the feeling behind them. Offer the generosity of being truly present. In your work, the next time you have a task to complete, especially one that no one will double-check, choose to give it the surplus weight of an extra 10% of effort and care. polish the final product beyond the minimum requirement. Add one more insightful detail to the report. Do it not for the praise, but for the quiet, solid satisfaction of knowing you gave good measure. In your judgments, the next time someone makes a mistake or offends you, offer them the surplus weight of a generous interpretation, the beautiful assumption we have spoken of before. Instead of assuming malice, assume they are struggling. Give them the benefit of the doubt that you would wish for yourself. This principle of proactive generosity is the ultimate antidote to the scarcity mindset of the modern world. The world tells you that you are limited, that resources are scarce, and that you must hoard your time, your energy, and your kindness. The paradox is that the more you hoard, the poorer you feel. The more you give from a place of conscious choice, the more you realize that your capacity for these things is infinite. You are not a leaky bucket, losing what you give away. You are a channel, and the very act of giving opens the channel to receive more.